Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a top 6 issues I've experienced with my 2010 Porsche Cayenne. Mine is the V6 variant. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to give me that thumbs up to help the YouTube algorithm. And I will go over I will go over my list here in just a moment. So the first issue I want to talk about is going to be air suspension. Most of the Cayennes have air suspension. Mine is the V6 variant, and I do not have air suspension, which was intentional. It just took me a couple months to find this spec. But if you are searching for this, just make sure that you get that system checked before you purchase it, because if you don't DIY it or convert it to traditional coils, it can be quite costly to getting it repaired. Now, along with the suspension, I know it's not necessarily suspension, but brake pads and rotors are an absolute must on these vehicles. Unfortunately, they are very heavy, so your pads do wear a little bit quicker than I would say most vehicles. I would expect to get maybe 40,000 miles. I don't even know if that's normal, but just something to consider. Alright, so issue number 2 is going to be hazing headlights. So you'll notice that mine right here look phenomenal. They look perfect. But that did not come at no cost. I did have to restore them and then reseal it. But right now they look phenomenal. Again, most of these Cayennes have pretty hazed over lenses, and I assume that's just from being out in the sun. But not necessarily an issue. That's just more cosmetic flaw, or if you're OCD like I am. Third issue I experienced is going to be the PCV valve diaphragm. I'll show you where that's at here in just a moment. So the PCV diaphragm, it's a pretty expensive fix if you don't do it yourself, honestly. I would say it's about $2,000 or so. It is under this whole manifold. It's on the valve cover. The unfortunate part is if you're getting this fixed through a dealer, they don't replace just the little diaphragm that's on that valve cover. They replace the entire valve cover. So to get to it, you got to take all of this off right here, take off the manifold, and then you take off the valve cover. It's a little diaphragm about, that big, that's on the diaphragm. You can replace that piece for about 80 bucks or even well under 100 bucks if you get a better aftermarket version, which is what I did. And it's kind of a long process. I mean, it took me, almost 10 hours. I know if I were to do it again, I can probably knock it out in probably about 5. But that is certainly something to consider if you're getting these vehicles. The fourth issue I experienced when I first got the vehicle a few years ago, check engine lights were on, hooked it up to my scanner, and it, I don't remember the codes on hand, but long story long, I just had to replace the O2 sensors. There's going to be 4 total. So there's 2 in front of the catalytic converter and then 2 in the rear of the catalytic converter, but you can see it right there. You'll see there's one right there, there's one right there, there's another one right here. But that is something to consider. They are about $150 each, and you need 4 of them. So not very fun, but keep that in mind. So now the 5th issue I experienced is going to be where my rear hatch stabilizer bars are, along with the window glass button or the motor, whatever it's called. So this right here, before it would pop open, but it wouldn't stay up. And to fix that, we had to take all this stuff down. Well, I guess you can see it better right here. But there's going to be little spring stabilizer bars, inner and then an outer, and then same thing on the other side, an inner and an outer. And to gain access to it, you do have to drop the headliner and all that fun stuff. If you want to see that DIY, I've made a video of it. Just hit up the library. And I know that can be an expensive fix. It's about 1,500 bucks for someone to do it for you, or of course you can do it yourself. So last issue I wanted to share with you that I've personally experienced is going to be my radio. Old school radio. So what I'm experiencing with it is every once in a while, all my saved stations, it just resets automatically. So I don't know if this is a battery issue, electronic issue, not really sure, but haven't really looked into it. Doesn't bother me that much, but it is a little bit annoying. If you know, let the group know in the comment section below, and it'll help me out too for the future. So I am currently at 151,000 miles on my 2010 Porsche Cayenne. Again, this is the V6 variant. Would I recommend it? Depends. So for me, if you're a DIYer or you like to enjoy tinkering, or you can or able to work on your own car, absolutely, I would highly recommend it. If you just love German cars in general, I would highly recommend it. If you're coming from a Japanese vehicle or just used to not having to work on your cars at all, I don't know if this would be a good fit for you. Let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up to help the YouTube algorithm, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave your questions and comments below for the group. Thanks.